name is JD. I'm just going to read from the paper, so forgive my lack of eye contact. I grew up in a Christian household, church every Wednesday and Sunday. My parents even ran my youth group on Sunday nights for a time. I was immersed in the church, and for a time I loved it. But as I grew older, I started drifting further and further from God and deeper into the ways of the world. I left my parents' house when I was 17 years old in pursuit of what I thought was going to be a better life, and boy was I wrong. I was intentionally trying to cover myself in sin in an effort to distance myself from God. Before Christ saved me, I managed to get to a place in my life where everything was in shambles. I had no regard for relationships or my family. I had respect for nobody. I was hard-headed and foolishly thought that I had all the answers. I would listen to the advice of no one because I thought I knew best. I can say with certainty that I had no clue what I was doing. My life had become a series of ups and downs, and each time my life took a dip, it was deeper than the last, and so on. I now know deep down that I knew what the answer to all my problems was, or I should say I knew who the answer to all my problems was. But I had trained myself to block thoughts about God out of my mind. And within a few years, blocking out God's voice was just muscle memory. Until about 2 weeks ago, on July 19th, I gave my life to Christ. I was actually contemplating taking my own life, as I had done multiple times before, and I was brought to my knees with grief. All of a sudden, the Lord put the lyrics of a song I used to listen to as a child into my head. And the lyrics go like this. Will you take me as I am? I know the way I'm living is wrong, but I can't change on my own or try to make it alone. I wonder, how could you love me with my life so ugly, but you came down and died for me? Will you take me as I am? And I kept reciting those words over and over in my head. I knew from being in church that we did not have to clean up our lives before we come to Christ. And then my focus switched from the lyrics of the song to how many times God spared my life. And then I realized that there's no way that I was going to be able to take my own life if it wasn't in God's will. So instead, I decided to die to myself and surrender my life to Him. When I opened my eyes, the darkness of my room had literally become lighter. I broke down in tears again because for so long, I was deliberately trying to fill my life with darkness, trying to escape God and trying to live my life on my own terms. And the thought that after all the things I've done, the gift of salvation was still open to me. And I couldn't wrap my mind around how merciful God is. I can remember just wanting to run to Him and hug Him. I thank Him every day for what He's done for me and what He's done for all of His people. I went over to my parents' house the following night and talked with my dad about the choice I made. He was stoked to hear the news. A lot of people were stoked to hear the news. And that was eye-opening as well. Because I had a network of family and friends that cared more about me than I cared for myself. And I was so absorbed in my selfish lifestyle that I never took the time to let that sink in. But now I'll never take that kind of love for granted. My dad also told me to get ready because the enemy had me exactly where he wanted before. And now that I was in God's hands, He would try everything and anything to bring me down. And sure enough, the enemy did not waste a single second. He got right to work, but the Lord is already working in me because the way I would handle situations in the past and the way I'm able to handle situations with the Lord's guidance now are two vastly different methods. Since giving my life to Christ, I've noticed a difference in myself. My life didn't all of a sudden just change after I prayed the prayer, but now I have a purpose, a reason to wake up. The fire inside me has been stoked, and it's growing as we speak. I'm grateful for the opportunity to publicly profess my faith and follow a commandment of the Lord today, and I personally can't wait to see what His plans are for my future. I may not know exactly what those plans are, but I do know that as long as I do what's in God's will, I'm fulfilling my purpose here on earth.